Hey, everybody. Guess what today is?
It's book launch day.
Book launch day, Liz.
Oh
Oh my gosh, you have to be so excited. Oh, we're happy to have you. And I want to tell everyone that we have Liz Lazarus with us, and you may have seen her before on our podcast. She's an author and writes the most amazing books. And today is the new launch of her book, Dawn Before Darkness. And we are so excited. I cannot wait to read it.
Hi, Liz. How are you?
I'm good. It feels like it's been a long time coming, this book launch. So thank you guys for having me today.
Oh, we're so excited. Like, you have to, are you just like, this is the best book yet, right? That's kind of the reviews I've heard.
I think so. You know, each one I think keeps getting better. And this one, as you guys know, is based on a personal story, inspired by personal stories for me and a friend. So it's gripping, and people feel the personal side of it. They feel the emotion, I guess I would say.
Yeah. So let's talk about the book. Like, so can you tell us the background of the book and what brought you to write it?
Sure. So it started as a stalker story. My friend Don Hillier, who you may know, had a stalker for years. And so I always knew my fourth book would take her story and fictionalize it. And I ended up not only talking to her, but several other women who had stalkers and were willing to share. So my bad guy is this super villain because it's a combination of all their stories. And Karen, you even talked to me a little bit about what happened with you. But at the same time, I was going through a guardianship battle for my mom, which was so unexpected. First, I was sued by a family member for guardianship and conservatorship of mom. And then I ended up having to fight a total stranger for guardianship of my mom. So the legal story, though fictional, talks about what can happen when the probate court gets involved with your family, and how quickly mom was taken away from us.
Wow. And mom, when you say probate, a lot of people automatically go to deceased mom, but this is your living mother.
Yes, yes, in her 80s. And what happened was the family member, as I said, that sued for guardianship and conservatorship. And the judge in probate court said that due to the discord within the family, that mom would be put under a professional guardian. And so for 3 years, she was under the care of this guardian, but she was neglected. She was permanently crippled. And then when this guardian finally resigned after 3 years, the family did not ask again to be guardian. So I did. And the original guardian named a successor. And so then I had to fight him in court, total stranger, for guardianship of mom. And we ended up, I had so many curls, we ended up having to do venues because the original judge recused himself. I had by then a new lawyer. We went to a whole new county. And the new judge finally, after many years and thousands of dollars, declared that I had priority as daughter, and that I was responsible and capable and wanted the role and wasn't going to charge. And he awarded me actually temporary guardianship. I had to go back and reapply for full guardianship. But it was such a crazy ordeal that I had to write about it. And I hope it's a cautionary tale for families to see that this can happen. It was just an unbelievable ordeal.
Listening to you talk about it takes me back to some of the conversations we had at the time. It's been a while since you had to live this moment. And just for reflection, your mother wasn't down the street, right? You were managing her from a completely different state and doing this battle across state lines.
True. I was in Georgia and she was in South Carolina, which is why the book is set in South Carolina. And it was about a 3-hour drive. I used to call it my 6-hour lunch because I would drive 3 hours, have lunch with her, and drive back. And we did that for years. She was in South Carolina starting in 2000. So for 15 years, I would go get her and actually pick her up, bring her back to Atlanta, and we would have a visit. We'd have a great time together. And then what happened in 2015 is she got pneumonia. She was hospitalized. And when she came back to the facility where she was staying, they moved her from assisted living to skilled nursing. And that's when all the trouble started. That's when my family member had mom sign a POA and trust without my knowledge and started blocking me from taking mom out of the facility. And then that's when the guardianship, I got the papers and was served for the lawsuit for guardianship and conservatorship. So the book is a fictional story, and I should give you the background of that. It's about a vet tech named Dawn who lives in South Carolina, and she starts dating a guy, and she thinks he's Mr. Prince Charming, and she did him in a few lies. And when she catches him in an undeniable lie, she breaks off the relationship. And most people would think, okay, story over, but he doesn't accept the breakup. And he starts to stalk and harass her, so much so that she has to get a restraining order. To make matters worse, he sues for guardianship and conservatorship of her mom. And people say, well, how can he do that? He's a stranger. But I had a stranger fighting me for guardianship of mom. Anybody can sue. The question is, can they win? And will a judge think that the family member doesn't deserve the role, even though we should have priority? So the story has those two elements, the stalker guardianship story.
Oh my gosh. That's like the worst of both worlds. I had a stalker when I was much younger. I had a boyfriend. I broke up with him. My family all said he was no good for me. So, of course, I probably dated him longer than I should have. Listen to your family, people. I'm telling you, they know. But anyhow, this guy would do the craziest things. Like, I remember one time, there's a spot that goes around. I grew up in Southern Illinois, and around the Southern Illinois arena where the college basketball team plays, there's a road that has no drop-offs on each side. It's just a 2-lane road. And I remember this man, I'll be polite, but he literally got in the lane and was like chicken fighting with me. I had nowhere to go. Like, I thought, this is ridiculous. I'm going to die right here on this road. And thankfully I didn't, and he swerved around, but it was awful to have a stalker. And it's a battle to fight a stalker. I can't imagine fighting a stalker that's also trying to influence your emotions through stealing your mother, basically. Like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to read this book. Like, it's going to be a page turner. The thing with Liz's books is you can't put them down. Like, I start one of her books and it's like, we're not doing anything else until it's finished because it is a very, very good plot line. And it's always a twist and a turn. So do you have a lot of twists and turns in this book?
We do. There are a couple twists. I say we, I do. I wrote it. Yeah, a couple twists. And the ending for sure has a twist that I think most people don't see coming. And what I've heard most about from early reviews is it is a page turner. It is relentless, and the cover is beautiful. People have said the cover is beautiful.
Let's
show
see
it to you.
Do you have it?
So you may
buy that
think
today.
this is
Right there.
Yeah.
Buy it today.
That is beautiful.
But don't let the cover fool you, because it is relentless. One person called it breathtakingly frustrating. And my husband had said to me, why don't you give Dawn a break? I thought about it, and it was good feedback, but I said, I didn't get a break in my real legal case, so I'm not giving her one. So it's relentless until the ending, and people have said the ending is satisfying. So, but it's a tough read. It's probably my toughest read, just from how heavy the topics are and how the stalker, the bad guy, is, I wouldn't say necessarily physically intimidating or scary, but he's always a step ahead of Dawn inward. He's always up ahead of her. And so every time you think she's going to get a break, she doesn't.
Mm. Well,
So
that's real life, I think, for people with stalkers.
Yeah. And I was going to say, this is the 4th book in the series, and it mixes a few stories. But your first book, let's talk a little bit about the book series, because it's really, they're individuals, but they all sprinkle a little bit of things through them that are uniformed. But your first book was Free of Malice, or is Free of Malice. And that has its own story as well.
True. A lot of people know that one, or hopefully know that one, but that one was based on, I guess 2 of my books have been based on real events and 2 were complete fiction. But Free of Malice, my first book, and what got me writing was an attack in college. A stranger broke into my home in college, and I was super lucky. I was able to fight him off. And so I wrote about that. Where's the line between self-defense and vigilantism? Because as he was leaving, I would have shot him had I had a firearm. And my family member said to me, well, that may not have been self-defense. By the time you could have shot him, he was retreating off your property, and you might have gotten in trouble. And so that stuck with me. And I eventually decided it wouldn't leave me alone. So I eventually decided to write the book about a woman who was attacked like me and decides to write a legal story of what would have happened had she shot and killed her assailant. And she works with a young Black lawyer because she's a journalist, she's not a lawyer, and he gives her advice on how to write the story. So seems to know things about that, and she can't decide if she's being hypervigilant or could this be the guy. And you get closure, but you also get a lot of education about the laws of self-defense, which I learned as I was writing the book.
Yes, it's a great book. Like it's a very, very
Thank you.
fantastic read. And I'm not a reader. I was just looking behind to see if I had any of your books so I could show them, but it would be too hard to get into this like antique bookcase to try to pull them out. So, but I mean, this is terrible, but I really don't like to read. And I can't wait to read your books. And they are just so riveting, I guess is the right word. But then you had Plea for Justice. Can you tell us about Plea for Justice?
That's the second one. Right. So I really was only going to write Free of Malice. That was the one story about the attack, and I got it out of my system. But then the reviews came in, and people kept saying, wait for Liz's next book. And I really was not going to. But then I ended up meeting a detective, a police detective, who invited me to take a self-defense class called RAD. It's a Rape Awareness Defense. And as I took the class, I thought, this is interesting information. I should write about it. So it's about, it's separate from Free of Malice. Plea for Justice is about a young woman named Jackie. And she's kind of the nerd in high school. And she hangs out with Aaron, who's the cool jock. And they don't acknowledge their friendship in school because, you know, they don't hang out in the same worlds. But after school, they're best friends. And once they graduate, he drops her. No explanation. And 10 years later, he is arrested for allegedly killing a girl. And instead of going to trial, he takes a plea deal. And from prison, he reaches out to Jackie asking for her help. And she has since become a paralegal. So she can't resist trying to, you know, reconnect with her old friend. And it's told from 2 points of view, from Jackie's point of view, as she's investigating all the clues from the murder, and from a character called Me, who is the bad guy. And you don't know if that's Aaron or somebody else. And when I was doing that book, I was learning to carry because I'd gotten my carry permit. And so I write about that too, because to me, it was fascinating to share the aspects of that part of self-defense.
I forgot about Me. As soon as you said Me, my heart went back to reading.
You forgot about Me? Oh, you loved Me. I remember.
I know. As soon as you said Me, my heart went, oh, Me. And because he was, I'll keep my words so that someone who hasn't read it can read it. But it's a great, great book. That's book 1. Book 2. We've talked a little bit about book 4. Let's talk about book 3.
But before we go there, I'll tell you when Travis, my now husband, and I first started dating, because we only got married last year. When we first started dating, I let him read the 3rd book, which I'll tell you about. But then I found out he was reading the 2nd one. And I told him, stop. I don't want you reading the Me character because I'm afraid you'll be afraid of me, or if you think my brain is that warped. But I did a lot of research on criminals to write that character. So hopefully people don't think that's where my brain goes naturally. The 3rd one, which I know Karen loves, is called Shades of Silence. It is about a woman named Juliana who owns a restaurant in Florida. and her husband is a commercial, or not a commercial pilot. Well, he's a retired commercial pilot and then a charter pilot. And his plane goes missing, and it's been missing for about 3 months. I wrote that one right when the Malaysian flight went missing, because I thought the only thing worse than mourning a spouse or a loved one would be not knowing. And so 3 months have gone by. They've stopped the search. She doesn't know if he's alive or dead. And a young girl comes into her restaurant after hours and says, "We need to talk. He's not who you think he is." And before she can say anything more, a bullet comes through the window and kills her instantly. So this one is told from Juliana's point of view as she's trying to figure out who this girl is talking about: her husband, her lazy stepson, her bar manager, somebody else. And it's told from Detective Grant's point of view as he investigates the murder. And it alternates back and forth. And you find out in the end what happened.
It's such a good
Another
book.
good book. Yeah.
And what's really impressive, without giving it away, is the amount of research you do on these books. So they're fictional, but they're steeped in reality from all of the research you do. So as you're reading, you're actually learning real facts, but you're entertained through the story too. So it's a really like great combination for all the research you do.
I had an editor for the third book tell me, well, it's not realistic that when Detective Grant gets a call in the middle of the night about this murder in the restaurant, that he would stop and make himself coffee before he leaves. And this is an editor in the publishing world. And I asked Jennifer, who was my now retired but detective friend, and she helped me with Detective Grant. Like he is her in male form. And she's like, of course I'm going to make coffee. The body's dead. I'm going to be all night. I'm going to need my coffee. And so whether it's a detective or a lawyer or a commercial pilot or a charter pilot, I interview people a lot. And in fact, Krista is my go-to expert on all things personal safety, because I want to make sure I get those things right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you won't find a better expert than Krista, that's for sure.
Thanks. I got to ask you, Liz, when you were a little girl, was your plan to be an author? Like, was this your big dream and you'd been thinking, when I grow up, I'm going to tell stories? Or was it the avenue of the way your life took you and the challenges and the interactions that you had that created that?
I had no plan to be an author. I didn't even think I wrote that well. I was either going to go, well, the funny thing is I scored the same on the SAT for math and English. So I thought about maybe going into journalism. And my father said to me, "I'll pay for engineering school." So I'm like, okay, I'm going to engineering school. So I went to Georgia Tech and got my engineering degree. Spent most of my career at General Electric, doing operations type roles, manufacturing and field service. And it was really the attack in college, my senior year in college, that got me writing. And I was writing as therapy, but nobody talked about going to a therapist. And because I wouldn't actually rage, I fought the guy off. There was a little bit of, well, you're lucky, get over it. So that book actually started as my journal of what happened that night and how I felt and the PTSD that I didn't even know I had. I didn't know that word. So writing was my soothing. And it's been the same thing for this fourth book, because of all the reviews, when people say the legal part doesn't seem plausible, I'm like, oh my gosh, if you only knew. The writing got it out of my system, the frustration. Like, imagine going to court and ready to have your to be heard, and then the judge recuses himself. And then you got to start all over. And then we go to the other court and the judge didn't allow enough time. So then we have to go back. And so the frustration of how long this took and how unjust it was that my mother her care was given to a complete stranger who, by the way, in the fourth book, and it's true in the book and in real life, had no qualifications. In South Carolina, the only thing you need to be a guardian is an appointment by a judge. The woman that was in charge of my mother had no training, had no credentials, nothing. And so I write in the book, because Dawn is a vet tech, that she had to have more credentials to take care of an animal than the guardian did to take care of a human being. And so writing was definitely my outlet of the frustration I went through with this legal battle.
So many of us are in that stage of life where we have aging parents or aging siblings and aging relatives that we are in the either beginning stages or in the cusps of care, and it's painful, right? There are days that it's not easy, and where you feel like you have to be someone's advocate, let alone to go through what you went through. Just in regular life where things are easy, you still feel that you've got to be the voice to stand and speak for your person. So
it's those times that make you want to be criminal because you want to just go kidnap your parent.
Right. And just take them into control.
And
right.
you can't do the wrong thing. You have to do the right thing, which sounds like very frustrating. The most polite word you can use. So I'm excited to read the book. And I am going to Amazon right now and buying the book. And we're gonna put the link.
No. I'm sending you one. I'm gonna send you one, Karen.
Yay!
So all of the other people watching, y'all go right now. It's launched today. Go out and purchase the book.
Yeah, and I understand that you have these beautiful gift boxes, and you're willing to donate to one of our listeners. So they had to have watched to the end to find out that they can win a beautiful book, a candle, and a mug. Is that right? In a box set?
It's a can, and you'll see it if you look at my author Liz Lazarus page on Instagram. We've had a lot of giveaways of the book box. So it's the book, it's a candle, a custom candle, and a candy bar. And I'll let you all make up the rules, but we'll send a book box out to the winner. And we've also been sending them out to Instagram bloggers, and so you'll see it a lot on author Liz Lazarus on Instagram and on Facebook. And
so what
we want, if you don't like, go ahead.
Sorry, here's what we're gonna do. So you all have to comment at author Liz Lazarus and tag her page, because to tag your page, they're going to have to go follow you. So you guys go follow Liz and then tag here at Liz Lazarus, and we will randomly pick a winner through our system that we use. And Liz will send you. Can you sign the book?
Oh, of course. Yes.
A signed book box, and you can see it on her pages.
And we'll add her tags in the comments so that you make sure that you find her and that it's the right connection. Yeah. I do have one more question. And we've had this conversation after previous books. So I'm going to ask it knowing that in the past the answer was no, not again. Is there going to be a book 5?
I know the question.
I know you know the question. Is there going to be a book 5?
I know the question because I always say no, but it's like asking a woman, are you going to have another child when she just birthed a child, right? And you're like, no, I'm done. That was too painful. But probably, yes. And it probably will be green because each of my books have a color, and it has to do with greed and money, and also some events that I'm watching right now that will be good fodder for another book. So probably. Probably. I need a good title. We can go have lunch and talk about what that title should be. And I did want to mention with the book, it was out for pre-order on Amazon, the ebook. But now that we're on launch day, you can get the paperback or the audiobook. And the voice actress is amazing. She's the same actress that did the third book. We didn't even audition because she's so good. I was like, let's just use her again. Her name's Jill Smith.
Great.
So exciting.
Yay. I can't wait to read it. And I am very, very thankful for you and your time to come talk to us about the book. I know our followers are going to love reading it. And thanks for not only entertaining us, but informing us on some really important issues of the day. And I think I'm going to have to go have my mom sign a statement saying she's never going to give her stuff up to anyone but my sister and I. Like we can't let that happen.
If it's a cautionary tale to get for parents, especially to get your affairs in order, your power of attorney, your wills, trust if you want one, your personal representative, and do it before your competency can be challenged, which I never thought I'd have to worry about that. If people do that, then, when I talk about how women can protect themselves, this book is about how you legally protect yourself and your family. And if it inspires people to do that, then it was worth writing.
Yeah. And honestly, I should do that for myself because,
Really
just because I'm not aged where I think about it, life is indefinite for all of us. So we should make sure we're protecting our families and ourselves. Liz, thank you so much. It's great to see you.
And Travis says, my husband, he says, none of us are getting out of here alive. And I'm like, well, you're right. So everybody, and here's the thing, especially if you have kids, let them know these are your wishes so that they don't misunderstand, and make sure you communicate what you want so that they don't misunderstand or try to have to guess or have infighting, which can happen in families.
Yeah.
Good tip. Thank you. All right, everyone. This is time for you to download your book or to go buy it off Amazon. And we look forward to talking to Liz again very soon.
Well, number 6 or 5, if not sooner. And thank you both. I always enjoy getting to talk to you when I have books coming out. Thank you both.
Thanks. And I heard book 6, so there's a 5 and a 6.
No, 5.
Boom, boom.
Let's just go for double digits. Why not? Let's put them all out there.
Why not? All right.
All right.
Thanks so much. Take care. Dawn before